Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and now let's take you live to a press conference being held by ISRO Chief S. Somnath.
Satellite is a microsatellite series, but with a lot of improvements. As already we have put up the detail in the website on what all features it has, and also very interesting three payloads. All details are already known to you. I don't want to repeat, and we are waiting for it to start functioning. Everything is going well in the initial phase. And post next 2-3 days of time, the satellite will become ready for imaging, and we will be able to show you the first of images very soon, I hope, if everything goes well. So thank you once again, and on the dais we have the directors of SDSC Shah, Rajarajan, Director of VSSC, Sri Dr. Unikrishnan Nair, Director of URSC, Sri Shankaran, the Director of LPSC, Dr. Narayanan, the Mission Director, Mr. Vinod, and the Director of the Spacecraft Project, Avinash. So, questions, please?
What about next launch?
No, let us talk about this launch first. Any more questions on this launch?
Sir, the take demo will be provided to others, but what was the launch plan, sir? Will it be done on ISRO platform, or are you also planning for it to be done private?
Yeah, what do you mean by ISRO platform? Launchpad? No, Launchpad, there are two Launchpad. One, we have the one at Satish Dhawan Space Center, what we have here. And we are building new one at Thoothukudi, that Kulashekara. And that construction has just started. And it will take 2 years to commission. But up to that time, whatever launches are to happen, it will happen from Shah. But beyond that also, it need to happen from both Shah and Kulashekara, depending upon launch azimuth. You know, when you launch from Kulashekara, you cannot launch towards east. Because of Sri Lanka, you can launch towards south. So all southern launches can happen from Kulashekara, which will be more efficient. And launch like today, which is at 37-degree inclination, has to happen only from Shah, because we cannot make that launch from there. Can still be launched, but with a lower payload. So we will have to look at how sharing will happen. The polar launches will take from there, and others will happen from here. I didn't get the question. No, that this vehicle is ready. It can be realized in every month, but it's a development process. It is not in production. So the production model is different than development model. In a production system, orders are given for tens and tens of rockets. So we will be able to produce in numbers like car production. If you are making one car, after that you are making second car, it will take 1 year. But if you are making 100,000 cars or 10,000 cars in one series, it will take very small time between them. So it is simply an issue of the planning process of production. So nothing to do with this gap. This much is enough for development program because we are in the process of development. But in the operational regime, it will be much shorter. It will be private only, and ISRO will only help them to understand and use it.
On technology transfer,
yeah.
On technology transfer, have you started dialogue with some of the private companies? And also, what would be your criteria? Who should actually be you will even transfer? And third question, will it be open for the domestic alone, or maybe international people can also do?
Okay, that's a very good question. What we did is, first we wrote a request for RFI has been written, and we brought all the people who are interested to take up this technology. All industries came forward as single, as consortia. We called all of them to ISRO. InSpace has organized it, had a 1 day long interaction to understand what are their issues of technology transfer, how to do it, our expectations of them, etc. So that dialogue is already over. So from that we understand there is a huge amount of interest to learn. And we also told them that it is a huge challenge to anybody to learn rocketry from scratch. It's not just manufacturing technology we are transferring the knowledge also of how things are done, not how how the drawings alone, but the knowledge behind it also we want to transfer. So that requires working with us. It is simply not a technology transfer document or a drawing that we are giving. They are coming inside ISRO, working with us and learning it. Technicians, supervisors, planning, designers, everybody will come. So we are actually teaching them how to build a rocket. And companies who have an ability to learn this with certain expertise. So we have cataloged what are the skills that industry should possess. There should not just a manufacturing industry, but should be an industry with a background in aerodynamics, thermal design, control system, electronics. Many domains are involved. If these domains skilled people are there, only then they can understand. So we have set of criteria. Our RFP documents talks about all these criteria, and we will look at criteria of manufacturability, their capability and facilities, and financial strength of the company, and many other factors we have put it. For each one of them we have put weightage and marks, which is public document, and based on that the companies will be shortlisted and final contract will be given. And they have to also pay for the technology transfer fee, and if they are willing to pay only, it will be given. And this is only for domestic companies and not meant for foreign companies.
Sir, in this particular satellite and in this particular mission, we've seen a 500 kg payload class rocket lift, 175 kg payload class satellite. So, I mean, if you could just explain why is it that we did not utilize the max payload one? And also, was there a possibility of sort of utilizing the payload more by increasing the fuel and thereby increasing the life also of the satellite? Have any rational data?
So it is simple. Its capability is still 500. So what we did is we have to put the dummy masses to design the whole vehicle. Otherwise, what will happen is, being a solid rocket, it can overperform. So if the payload is not less, if the payload is less, so what we did is we put the sufficient dummy masses to offset that part. It all happens with what is available at a given point in time for a mission. Every satellite cannot be injected to any orbit. So at this point, I have only this satellite. If there is a satellite weighing 500 kg is available, it would have been good, but it's not available. So I believe that when a rocket is designed, it is always designed for a very high capability, and based on demand, it will be utilized.
So you're saying that 175 plus 200 plus kg mass. So it was actually 500 kilos that flew, but it's the payload, operational payload is only 175.
Precisely.
Oh, thank you.
So the third payload, what it actually does is the Gaganyaan.
See, when you go to space, there are many radiations. Now, when you are on Earth, you are protected by atmosphere. The radiation coming from space contains radiation from the sun as well as from cosmic radiation. So this radiation has different elements like the ultraviolet radiation that comes from sun, which also has different components, sensitive to human body and things like that. So we have different parts of that ultraviolet radiation that has to be measured, as well as particle radiations that will come, like gamma rays, etc. So this, if you are on Earth, you are protected by it. You don't have to worry about it. But once you go out of atmosphere, everybody is subject to this radiation. So when a spacecraft goes up and human beings are up there, they will be subjected to the radiation, especially when they are open to space. So this sensor will be put outside. It will measure in a typical orbital way what is the type of magnitude of ultraviolet radiation that can come, how much of the threshold of gamma ray radiation can come. It will measure so that we can take protective actions while we design spacecraft, or amount of exposure can be minimized.